From the Detroit Free Press, it's Tuesday. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Bush's has over 4,000 Michigan products, including the freshest fruit and vegetables, meat, seafood, and baked goods. Stop by one of Bush's 16 locations for the personal service you expect from your neighborhood grocer.
I'm Dave Boucher with the Detroit Free Press. In late May 2011, Christine Morse found out she had breast cancer. That meant the Kalamazoo mom needed an MRI, but doctors wouldn't run the imaging test unless she could confirm she wasn't pregnant.
My husband actually ran out and bought a pregnancy test, and I did it in the MRI lab and found out I was pregnant there.
The results were a shock and left Morse with a terrible choice. Doctors said to effectively treat her cancer, she needed to take drugs that would cause substantial harm to the fetus. But patients who didn't take the cancer medication typically only had 3 years to live. Morse and her family decided she needed an abortion. She hasn't processed everything she endured at the time, but Morse, cancer-free a decade later and in her first term as a Democratic member of the Michigan House of Representatives, ultimately chose to live. Tens of thousands of women in Michigan and across the country make similar decisions every year. Now, that already fraught choice is even more complicated in the wake of a new Texas law that severely restricts most abortion access in the state, a recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling that allowed the law to take effect, and fears this ruling could foreshadow the court more broadly overturning the right to abortion access in the future. The Texas law bans an abortion past 6 weeks gestation, effectively prohibiting most abortions. Violators can be taken to court by anyone and face a possible $10,000 fine. Morse had her abortion after that 6-week point in her pregnancy. If Michigan had a similar law when she needed an abortion, though, it wouldn't have stopped her, she said.
When you find out you have cancer at 38 and you're raising 3 kids, all you can think about is how much you want to live. And if that would have required me going to a neighboring state and having my neighbors snitch on me to, get $10,000 from the state, I would have done it.
In Michigan, there is a law that makes providing an abortion a felony unless necessary to save the life of the pregnant person. That law is currently superseded by the 1973 U.S. Supreme Court ruling in Roe v. Wade. But the High Court is set to hear a challenge to that case in December, and many suspect it will overturn nearly 50 years of abortion precedent at some point next year. If it does, that means Michigan's ban on most abortions goes back into effect. Morse, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and many Democrats want to repeal that law, but that's highly unlikely given that Republicans control the legislature. Morse decided to share her story now so more people can get a better understanding of the wrenching process pregnant people face before making a decision that's best for them.
If something's bad is going to happen to you, and you can use it to fight for something important for many other people, then that's what it's for, I guess.
This is Lily Altavino with the Detroit Free Press. A middle school in Macomb County is so short-staffed, students will have to learn online this week. Eastpointe Middle School faced a rash of resignations last week, according to a letter Principal Stephanie Fleming sent to families on Thursday. Because of the shortage, students will learn from home for the next week. Fleming wrote that the district planned to resume in-person school on September 27th. She did not specify how many jobs need to be filled by then, but online job postings show 6 openings for certified teachers. Caitlin Keenitz, a spokesperson with the district, said 22% of the district's teaching positions are vacant. The reasons are varied. Some teachers found opportunities in other districts. Some have left the field completely. To learn more, head to freep.com.
I'm Sue Solaski, Detroit Free Press food writer. There's been an outpouring of support for Corktown's beloved and late Greg Mudge and the deli he founded and owned. A GoFundMe page to help reopen Mudgie's Deli and wine bar in Corktown has surpassed its $20,000 goal. Mudge died suddenly on September 5th, shocking the Corktown and restaurant communities. He was 46 years old. The Oakland County Medical Examiner said Mudge died of natural hypertensive cardiovascular disease. The GoFundMe page launched 3 days ago, setting the $20,000 goal. More than 300 donations have poured in, raising nearly $39,000. Mudge's widow wrote that, quote, Mudgie suddenly lost its founder, the heart and soul of the beloved corner deli, my husband, Greg Mudge, the GoFundMe post read. Following his death, the deli announced it closed temporarily for bereavement. Mudgie's is seeking funds, quote, towards supporting Mudgie's employees during the restaurant's closure for bereavement and ease the transition back to fully open the business. Mudge's favorite organization, the Greening of Detroit, will receive any excess funds, the Post stated. The GoFundMe page is still active.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.